Hello everyone. In our last class, we discussed about pipelining, that how we execute the data by the use of pipeline. Now we are going to explain about the pipeline, what are the different characteristics of a pipeline and how it works. So what we have in this is that the tasks are divided into partial processing. Like we don't complete the whole task in a single stage, but we divide it into different segments. And once we get a result from one of the part, we forward it to the next part. So that is what we do in the case of pipeline. Now, and the last result, which is the final result, we get it at the end. Like this is segment 1, segment 2, segment 3, segment 4, and we will get the result at the end. Now, how a execution is done when we are talking about the pipeline. So let us start with it. So what is happening in this case? We have divided all the data. Now this is the operation in which we are having two things or two different operations to perform. This is just an example which we are going to use, that is AI into BI plus CI. What is going to happen? We are having A into B and C. We are going to add it with C. So what is going to happen inside the memory? There are different values. We will get a value A, B, and C. So I can vary from 1 to n. In this case, they are showing it as 7, but it can vary from 1 to n, which means there can be n number of iterations in this. So very first the work is the load task. That is to load the data from memory to your processor or to for execution. We are firstly in the first stage, we are only going to load the data. So this work is done like into the registers. This is loaded into the register R1 and R2. So we are having two registers here, R1 register and R2 register. Once it is in the register, we can multiply the data by entering it into the multiplier. So this will perform the second task. That is, the resultant is going to get stored at R3. This is a second stage. Okay, segment 2. After this, once we have calculated both the things, we have another value which is C, and that is loaded into the register R4. And once both are inside it, we can perform another operation known as add operation, which is going to be performed at this place. So it is add. So adder operation is performed, both the data are added, and we get the result of this at R. So this is a simple process how we are going to add the content. Now imagine that this is not a single process. Now we have divided it into different you can say stages. What does it mean? Like up to this part, this is segment 1, like S1. Then from this place up to this, it is segment 2. Then from this up to the result is segment 3. What does it mean? If we see the normal processing of our pipeline, what we have seen was we have divided at that place, we have divided it into four tasks. Now we are doing it in three. So just imagine this is S1, this is S2, this is S3. So this is the first instruction. For first instruction, S1 will be executed, then S2, then S3. This is a normal execution. Now if we want to do it in parallel, so how it will work? S2 and S3. Then the third will be executed like this, S3. Now what happens at this place? When my first value or my first execution is in segment 1, no other process can enter. But when it enters in the segment 2, the second instruction is in segment 1, which what is it means? The process of load when it is getting executed for the first instruction, no other value can be loaded at this place. But once this value is loaded once, then when it starts the multiplication process, at that time we are going to load the new value of a and b. Like, once this reaches to this place, once the multiplication of ai and bi is done, like a1, imagine this, that first value is a1 and this value is b1. For the first instance, we are going to load the value a1 and b1. Once it is multiplied, so then the resultant is a1 into b1. At that time, when it is entering in the second stage, in the first stage we will get a value a2 at this place, oh sorry, b2 at this place, b1 at this place. So we are, oh sorry, a2 at this place. So what is happening when these two are multiplied, like a1 and a2 is multiplied, and it is going, this is c1, so both are getting loaded. Then it is in second stage. When it enters in the third stage, like when this enters to this stage, like in the adder, what will be performed? A1 into b1 plus c1. This task will be performed in stage 3. At that time, when it is in this stage, these two values will be multiplied. Like in this place it will be a2, b2 and c2. So this will be executed when this is getting added. At that time this will be a3, b3. So this is how it works in these segments. So to represent it easily, what we are doing in the next is we are going to represent it in a table. So you can check it at this place. Before that, I will just tell you what are the different stages and how the pipeline is designed. So in a pipeline process, a processor pipeline has two ends. One is the input end and one is the output end. So simply this will be the input end. This will be the output end. The input end and the output end, between these ends there are multiple stages. So this is one stage, another stage, addition, subtraction, and all the different type of instructions which are there. So we can call them as different stages. Now one stage at the output of one stage is connected to the input of the other stage. No doubt in that. Interface registers are used to hold intermediary results. So that are your these registers like R3, R4, R5. So these are the intermediary outputs which we get at this place and we store them. All the stages in the pipeline along the interface registers are controlled by common clock. Clock is not shown in this to ease the process, but all the registers and all the devices which we are using are controlled by a common clock. After this, what are the different stages? Right now, in this case, if we can assume that we are only having three stages, we don't talk about the memory access and write back. This pipeline which we are showing you at this place in this slide, it is having five different stages, but the one which we have done, there are three stages only. Okay, so why there are five? Because when we execute an instruction, there are instructions like fetch, decode, execute, access the memory, and write back. So there are different type of stages which we might have inside a instruction execution. Now, the first stage will be instruction fetch. It means that the data will be fetched from the memory, and then it is in the second stage it is decoded. In the third stage it is executed, and the fourth stage what we do is we perform the memory access, and in the last stage it is written back to the memory again. So there are different stages in different type of executions. So what we are doing at this place, we are having only three stages in this execution. So let us talk about that. So what we have done at this place, S1, assume this as a pulse number 1, or it is T1. You can say this is T1, T2, T3. There are three different times. This is T1, this is T2, this is T3. So what is happening at the time of T1? What we are having, we might need to edit this. It is a little bit distorted. Need that extra tab. So what we have is, in the case first, like when the segment 1 is going on, what will happen? In the register R1, let us talk about this by taking the same example. When we are going to start at R1 and R2, which values will be given? First value will be A1 and B1. Okay. In the segment 2, at this place, we will not have any value. Why? Because it is time T1 and only first value is going to have certain value, no else, nothing else is going to have any value. So that is why all the values in front of this are empty. When the segment 2 starts, like at this place, so what value we are going to have at this place? It will be a value A1 into B1, and at this place we will have a value C1. So that is what we are going to have. So A1, B1 and C2, and at this place which values will be there? A2 and B2. So A2 and B2 are here, A1, B1 and C1 are here. This is the time T2, at time T2. Now when we are at time T3, so at time T3 what will happen? These values will be added. So the answer which we are going to have will be A1 into B1 plus C1. At this place in the second stage we will get a value A2 and B2, and here C2, and at this place we will get a value A3, B3. So this is what we are going to get at this place. So this is how we are going to have a value at different stages. So that is what we can see from this place as well. At the third stage, A3, B3, A2, A2, B2 and C2. Then this is A1, B1 and C1. So according to that, you can solve it for all the different stages. So this is how a pipeline works. So this is one another representation of the pipeline in which we are having different stages and different registers. So this S1 is representing a stage or segment 1. This is a register which is going to store the intermediary results. S2 is a second segment, a register, third segment, a register, fourth segment, a register. And how it is going to get executed? On one side, we are having segments, like there are four segments in it. In first, there are time cycles like T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6. So there are six time cycles or six different, you can say, stages are there. So in the first go, T1 will be executed. In the second, T1, T2 and T1, T3, T4. You can see that there is nothing same. Like if T4 is there, no other row, no other column will be having the T4 value. If T5 is here, no other column is going to have T5 value. So this is what we have in a general pipeline. Now, after this, the next topic which we are having, that is pipeline speed up. So I think we have done this thing number of times. We haven't used the formula, but we can easily understand what is a speed up. It's very easy to find. We did it in a simple method, but now they are representing it in the form of a formula which you can use. If we have n is equal to the number of tasks to be performed, like if we are having five different instructions, like in our example which we did, we used that we are having five different instructions to execute. So this is now represented by n. Then Tn, this is representing clock cycles to execute each task. Like if it is taking 4 seconds to execute one task, then how much time it is going to take to execute all the tasks. So that will be now represented by Ti. This will be simply equal to this multiplied by this, n into Tn. So which is 5 into 4, 20, which is very simple to calculate. I think we have done this number of times earlier as well, but now we are going to do it with the formula. In the earlier classes, we did it directly by using your comments. Okay, so if we are having five tasks and each task is taking 4 seconds, how much total time it is going to take? 20 seconds. That is the simple method of calculating the value of Ti. Now, this is for a normal method, normal machine. Now, if we are talking about a pipeline, then if there are k number of stages in this, like if we are having four stages, one, two, three, four, then the value of k is equal to 4. Okay, the value of k is 4. Now, TP, small t and p, it is saying how much time does it take to execute one instructions, one substage. Like how much time does it take to execute this instruction or this part of the instruction? How much time does it take to execute this is part? How much time does it take to execute this part? So if I say this takes 1 second, so then TP will be 1 second. How much time does it take to execute a single stage or a single sub operation or execute a single segment? Okay, time required to complete n tasks. So that is what we are going to calculate now. How much time is it going to take to calculate the n number of tasks? N number of tasks are total number of tasks. Like if n was equal to 5, now how much time is it going to take to execute 5 instructions? So there is a small formula for this, which is represented by tk equal to k, where k is the number of instructions, plus n minus 1. N minus 1, n is equal to 5, into the time which is taken to execute one sub operation. Okay, so let us see what we get. In this case, k is equal to 4. So 4 plus how much time is it going to take to multiply 4 into n minus 1, right? Into the time which it is going to take to execute a single instruction, which is 1. So it, according to this, it should take 8 seconds. Now let us try and find out whether it is 8 or not. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Actually, it requires one more, so you can just imagine that this is at this place. So this will take 4 seconds to execute this, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So like this is going to execute in 4 seconds. This will take one more second, so it will be 5 at this place, 6 at this place, 7 at this place, 8. So total time spent is 8 seconds. So that is what we have calculated at this place. So the simple formula is k plus n minus 1 into pp. where TP is the time which we take to execute a single instructions, single subpart. If we are taking 2 seconds here, then it will be multiplied by 2. If it is taking 0.5 second, then it will be multiplied by zero point 0.5. So the simple formula to calculate the speed up of pipeline is this one. So you might get certain numericals related to it as well. What is the method to calculate the speed up of a pipeline? Okay, or you might have a question like how to calculate the speed up. Okay, so now this is the time which we are going to spend, and this is tk. Then if you want to calculate the speed up, which is represented by sk, so it is simply divide these two values, that's it. So it will be n into tn, which we have got at this place, divide divided by k plus n minus 1 into tp, that's it. Simply perform this and you will get the speed up factor. This is your speed up. How much increase is there in the speed of your system? That is what it is going to tell you. So this is a speed up factor. Then so in simple words, if uh, if you are this if the number of values are very large, like n is very huge, then the speed up factor will be changed to tn by tp directly. So we can simply calculate it by multiplying tn by tp, by dividing these two values. Okay, so that is how we calculate the speed up factor. The next topic is micro architecture, and we will start with the micro architecture and graphic processing unit in the next class.